over the news because he's decided that he wants to insert himself into the black agenda in America. This has been going on for some time. He's been on CNN this week. I think he was on with Anderson Cooper, Chris Cuomo, and many others. Because Ice Cube, who made it clear he has not endorsed Donald Trump, he just wants to hear from either Republicans or Democrats on his contract for Black America. Right. He's got a plan he released earlier this year to address racial inequality. He says he's never met with Trump, but he's not really trusting either side. He just wants to see based on action. Let's start with you, Nadeska. What do you feel about what Ice Cube's doing? And what is your insight here for any young voters that may be paying attention to this moment in history?
Okay, so hear me out. I deeply, deeply, deeply dislike Donald Trump. And I know people are really, really upset with Ice Cube. I see people have been calling him a sellout for possibly collaborating with Trump on this, his contract with Black America, he says, and Trump's calling it part of his platinum plan for the presidential campaign.
Which is, by the way, so disrespectful, that name. Why got to be platinum when it's black folks? But with different conversation for a different day. Platinum,
but for
gold,
me,
why got to be, what are we doing?
Well, for all the atrocities that Trump has committed, I can understand why people would be upset with Ice Cube. But for me, there's like a line in the sand. And on one side, there's Ice Cube. And on one side, there's 50 Cent and Kanye, right? 50 Cent just wildly tweeting that he's going to vote for Trump just because of taxes. Obviously, he's in the 1%. Most people are not. Most of the people who are his fans are not. And then there's the Kanye West who does no research, has no idea what he's talking about, is completely ill-informed, reckless, is doing photo ops with Trump, is hugging him, and just generally just doing too much. And then there's Ice Cube, who seems like he's actually taken the time to really, really do his research and have his team have conversations. He said very specifically that he never went to the White House and met with Trump because he never wanted to be used as a photo op, right? He had his team take several meetings with both campaigns to see who was serious about moving forward. So I at least respect that this is coming from a place of research and thought and planning, and not him just blindly following any campaign. And like you said, he doesn't endorse Trump. So I'm not upset about it, although it's still a bit controversial. I guess my question and what I can't figure out is what happens if Trump loses the election? Then does he have to have another discussion with the Democrats and try to push it forward with them?
I think he said about the Democrats, about him approaching the Democrats, is they wanted to wait till after the election. And Trump, Trump and the Republicans wanted to have the conversation before. What it looks like to me, and because I'm indifferent about this topic, I've been following it all week, so I'm just watching different conversations. It's just the timing of all of this. We're about, 14, 15 days out from the election, one of the most, if not the most important election. I think he's just swimming. Trump is swimming for black votes. And it just looks like, not to say that it looks like from the outside looking in that Trump is using Cube as a puppet, and a lot of people are, having the mindset of like, okay, let me hear him out. Maybe he does have a plan, but some of these interviews he's doing isn't going over as well as I guess his plan is being articulated. Now, again, I'm not the most political pundit, and I won't be, and I never will be, but I'm just trying to follow along the story and his thought process. So I'm paying attention very closely to his tweets about what he's trying to achieve, about him not endorsing Trump, but now the Trump campaign is using him as a puppet. And that's what everyone first echoed.
Which is one, right. And that's where it gets dicey. Like you said, when he met with the Democrats, he wasn't pleased with them saying, hey, let's push this until after the election. But although I understand that there's so much urgency to push this through, because I think he's talking about something like $500 billion to invest in education, healthcare, black businesses, things that are really important.
Let's be clear, that $500 billion was a part of Trump's platinum plan, and that Ice Cube helped shape. But I think that based on the conversations I've seen, that $500 billion was not allocated specifically for black folks.
Okay, it's just what he wanted. Yeah, either way.
A lump. It was just a proposal. It was an idea.
Right. I think he should have waited. I think he should have waited until after the election. I understand the urgency, but I think it was inevitable that Trump's team would try to use this as a, here we have another African American. He likes to have his specific African American, but it's unfortunate. But I do want to give Ice Cube the benefit of the doubt that he does have good intentions here.
So Ice Cube, there's rappers, and then there are people who want to actually get into the political process seriously. I do think Ice Cube wants to find a solution. But my problem is with all of this conversation is how come we, as people with a platform, Ice Cube included, aren't giving the stage to individuals who do this for a living, who write laws, who write policy, right? Who understand the political process. And Ice Cube can be an ambassador for those individuals so that they can get the stage, right? He can bring the eyeballs for them to get the stage and make sure that we're having a thorough conversation about this contract idea. The other thing is why is it Ice Cube's contract? There's other people doing work. If we're really going to be aligned as Black America, what about the other people that are doing work for generations in hopes to get more resources and support for Black families and Black neighborhoods and Black people in general? Where are those people and a part of this conversation? Do they like this contract? You know what I mean? Those are the pieces that I wonder. And then there's also the timing. Why is this happening right now? If we were serious about sitting down with the Democrats or sitting down with whomever and them creating a platform for this, wouldn't that have happened, I don't know, even 4, 6, 8 months ago?
That's what I was asking. I'm like, why is it now?
Well, and I want to be clear. I like this conversation. Right. I like what Diddy's doing with our Black Party, creating a voting block. People can register and have discussion around issues, and we could come to a place and see the issues. And I even like the contract with Black America. What I don't like is I don't like not seeing Black legislators and Black mayors specifically. There are individuals who manage cities that are Black. Have you talked to them?
I think those are very good points. Yeah,
like
Ibro,
there's a Black Mayors Consortium. The Black mayors get on the phone together once a month. They are on the ground managing public schools, jobs in cities, social resources. Are they a part of this conversation? Robert Smith is the richest Black man in America. He's the one that was going to pay all of the student loans at Morehouse.
I saw that story.
Okay. Robert Smith has also been working with Ivanka Trump behind the scenes and the Trumps behind the scenes. Why? Because he did not want to get arrested for tax evasion.
I saw that.
So I question, because Kanye West got some tax breaks, didn't he? 50 Cent is worried about his taxes, isn't he? That's what he articulated to us. How much of Ice Cube's maneuvers are about the big three? And wasn't Ice Cube going to buy a cable network and he was a part of some group that was going to? So how much of this is about the contract with Black America versus your own self-interest as a businessman trying to be in these billionaire circles? Now, it might be a little bit of both, but we should be asking those questions, because what I'm not hearing is Black mayors, Black legislators, Black senators, Black representatives saying, hey, I spoke to Ice Cube. I think we should all be moving together on this, because those people actually are involved in the political process day in and day out. And newsflash, ladies and gentlemen, you don't just go have a meeting with the president and it gets figured out. These are all proposals and ideas. They still have to get voted on. They still have to get written. They still have to get passed. And oh, wait for it. Let's assume it does get passed. Who's going to manage making sure that the resources get down to the ground in the community? Who are those people? If you didn't participate in local elections and if you didn't fill out the census, how are those resources getting to you? And where are you going to use them? So after we've done all these meetings and written up all these cool tweets, people still have to get involved in the political process for any of this to work. Oh, this has been a Rap Life Review. Thanks for tuning in. got crazy. We do relationships, we do politics, we do music. We'll be here next week.